is steering at his brother now.
We're here for the final round of the F1 Journey Season 5, and unfortunately, Zak Brown's love for McLaren has come to an end as he has now left the team. Of course, Zak Brown initially had everything his own way, and it turned sour very, very quickly. He initially got the sponsorship deal that he wanted with Vodafone, which meant that they carried on their deal for another 2 years, but all of the backlash from that sponsorship deal left his drivers and his team personnel leaving the team. Zak Brown became increasingly unhappy and has decided to leave the team. David Smith, who was removed from the team principal at Jaguar, now is going to take over from Zak Brown. So now we understand why David Smith moved there in the first place. Zak Brown has been replaced by David Smith. David Smith is ready to bring a new order and structure into McLaren. So it's going to be a case of who would be willing to work with him after what they saw previously at Jaguar. Very interesting that McLaren went with him, but I have a feeling that Vodafone might have had something to do with this as well. Sam knew that Zak was going to leave the team, and they discussed this privately beforehand. It's a question now of where Zak Brown is going to go and whether Sam will follow with Zak, as the two of them have built such a strong relationship between the pair of them. Looking then at the transfer centre heading into this weekend, and Audi have decided not to renew Devon Butler's contract for next season. In fact, all of this pretty much revolves around Audi now. Devon Butler has been Audi's #1 driver for the past 2 seasons now in Formula 1, but it's clear to see that because of George Russell's performances, George Russell is going to get the contract to stay with Audi. Devon Butler is not getting the contract to stay with them. George Russell hasn't been as good in qualifying as Devon Butler, but Russell's been bringing in the results and is in front of Devon in the championship, and that's clear to see why. Now we know who's going to be replacing Devon Butler at Audi. Lando Norris is deciding that enough is enough with Red Bull, and he's going to go and join Audi, and Devon Butler is going the other way in a swap deal to join Red Bull. That does mean then that Mason Wood will be partnered alongside Devon Butler, and Lando Norris will be partnered alongside George Russell for the two teams. Very interesting swaps in there, and another move that we're now about to have, which we really did not see coming, was Noah James is going to leave Ferrari after a poor season. Noah initially signed a 3-year deal with Ferrari, but with the poor performance that Ferrari have had all season long, Noah James says, you know what, I don't think this is going to work, and clearly is not happy with Ferrari's future plans, and has decided he is needing to leave alongside Charles Leclerc, which means now over the winter break, these guys really need to get their act together, and Ferrari needs some drivers, because at the moment, they've got none. Now as we're going to have a look then at the race news then for this weekend, and Audi's car is working well for a crucial event in their fight with Renault. There are quite a few points behind Renault, and they really need things to go their way in this Grand Prix, so with their car working well, it can only mean that it's going to be good for them. Another good news is coming out from Jaguar with the high-speed circuit in play here at Belgium. That has brought Jaguar right back into the mix with the top 2 teams of McLaren and also Mercedes. Of course, McLaren and Mercedes have had the edge over Jaguar since Jaguar have been bringing all their new parts in, but with this being mostly a high-speed circuit, Jaguar's straight-line speed and their low drag really is coming into play. Williams actually believe that they're ready to push for points in this Grand Prix weekend. They believe that they have got the car that could just about sneak a point scoring finish, bearing in mind 1 or 2 minor retirements, but they actually believe their pace is worth it as well. And also Carlos Sainz is happy with his Ford car, and he's ready to attack for what is his last race for Ford. But here we go then, it's time for the finale of Season 5 of the F1 Journey. Only one of the McLaren drivers will win the championship. Will it be myself, or will Sam win the championship? Let's go find out. It's time for the finale of the F1 journey. Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Fox United here, and welcome back to the finale of Season 5 of the F1 journey, or Season 6, actually, should I say. I can't remember what season we're on now. But anyway, we are here for this finale, and the permutations are quite simple. For me to win the Formula 1 World Championship, we pretty much need to finish, I believe it's 6th or higher, if Sam is to win this Belgian Grand Prix. If we manage to finish, I believe it's 8th, maybe 9th or 10th, Sam has to finish in 2nd place to win the championship. The gap is 18 points between myself and Sam, and as we head into qualifying then, so far our initial lap has put us into P5 at the moment. As we come across the start-finish line here, we remain in P5, and that's 6 cents per second off of the pole position lap time. And now as we go on towards the final part of the lap here, we found ourselves a couple of tenths now as we go in towards the last corner here, trying to get the apex much better than we did last time, when we found half a second, nearly 4 tenths now. We lose a little bit of time on the end because of course we weren't having any ERS, but we found a great amount of time in the last chicane there to get us into 4th place on the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. And that's not too bad, considering Belgium is a track that is my favourite track, but it's just also one that's really very difficult. So we have a look at the starting grid here then. We've got Sam on pole position ahead of Max Verstappen in the Jaguar. And of course, Sam, for today's episode, has given us obviously the hashtag We Race as One with the McLaren logos in there as well. So a nice touch there. Hulkenberg is in P5 ahead of Hamilton P6. Reese qualified in P3 and I was in P4. Noah James in P7 for Ferrari. Daniel Ricciardo P8 for Renault. That's crucial in their fight with Audi. Charles Leclerc is 9th ahead of Mason Woods, who lines up in P10. 11th on the grid is Esteban Ocon ahead of Lando Norris in the Red Bull then. Of course, we've seen a lot of movements going on that end. In the next row then is an all-Audi row with Devon Butler, P13, George Russell, P14. Pierre Gasly lines up 15th on the grid ahead of Valtteri Bottas in the Williams in 16th place. 17th and 18th belongs to Nico Rosberg and Pascal WEHRLEIN. And then the back row is going to be Lucas Weber and Carlos Sainz, or should I say Carlos Sainz and Lucas Weber in there as well. So, yeah, very, very interesting grid. And we've just got to do what we've got to do to win the championship. And that's all that matters. So let's get straight into it then. So here we go then. We're on the grid now for the start to the Belgian Grand Prix. It's 5 red lights here, and it is lights out. We go here to start the Belgian Grand Prix off. It's been a good start, and we go instantly towards the inside of La Source there, cutting across the whole of the circuit there to try and gain some place on the inside. And that's exactly what we do then. Go down the inside of Reese there, and there's a bit of damage in the background. Someone's lost a front wing end plate there, but we're up into 3rd place. It is Sam that leads the Grand Prix, though Verstappen looks like he's about to nick it up the top of Eau in towards Radial now. He does so. Verstappen now leads the Belgian Grand Prix, but Sam's going to come back at him again now with that extra power that McLaren's got. But here we come now, driving towards the slipstream here. Both of them getting a double toe now. We're going to pull over to the inside line and dive down the inside in towards Lecom. We lead the Belgian Grand Prix, stealing it away from both Sam and Verstappen there. And it's a McLaren 1-2 with us in the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. It's been a while since we've actually led a Grand Prix, actually. So this is quite new territory for me, you could say, considering the second half of the season, as we now exit towards the exit now of the first lap here. And we've got Sam now right on the back of us here, and as he goes in towards Blanchimont, Sam and myself going side by side. The gloves are off. This is for the championship fight here, as we now defend against Sam heavily. I'm not giving him any form of an inch of passing me in this Grand Prix, because if my race turns sour and Sam's off into the distance, that's exactly what I do not want. Whilst we're in the lead of this Grand Prix, I am going to defend it very, very hard. On to lap 2 now of this Grand Prix, and we're going up Eau Rouge in towards Radion now. You can see Sam is so close behind now, but DRS has not been active yet in this start of this Grand Prix, so Sam then getting super close again now. We're going to go so defensive. In fact, we had to watch ourselves, because here comes Verstappen now to try and make a move on Sam. In towards Lecom. This will be bad for Sam if Verstappen makes a move stick, and he goes around the outside here, and I think Verstappen might have just held it, you know, as we swoop around the outside. We've made a bit of an error on the exit of Lecom, but now Verstappen is still fighting hard versus Sam, and in towards the second sector now. Verstappen looks like he's going to hold on to that position, and he does so there. Verstappen up into second. Sam has dropped to 3rd now in this Grand Prix. The Jaguar man making sure that the fight between them and Red Bull also heats up. Of course, Jaguar are in a very close battle to try and steal P4 in the Constructors' Championship away from Red Bull, but going back onto us now here. Lap 3 of the Grand Prix. Verstappen is very, very close now in the slipstream of our car, and we're building a gap actually between the rest of the field here. The top teams. Verstappen goes for it now into the bus stop chicane here, an unorthodox location for where I thought the AI might try and go for it, but he had a look, and now he'll have DRS here up the straight now in towards La Source. So this is not over yet. We might have to do a bit more defending. Verstappen goes towards the outside line in towards La Source. We'll have to cover it off, and we do so now down the inside into La Source and try and get outside ourselves a good exit if possible. It's been an okay exit. Hulkenberg there is battling with Noah James in the background, so that's not going to help him out. But meanwhile, as we see now, we've got Mercedes versus McLaren and versus Jaguar for the battle for the win of the Japanese Grand Prix so far. As we now go on to the Kemmel Straight here, Verstappen has a fantastic run here now, but he's not taking my slipstream, and in fact, it's actually literally just a case of Verstappen's drag and DRS doing him wonders. We're going to go and break down the inside, give Verstappen a little bit of a shove, and Sam says, thank you very much, I'll take back second place in the Grand Prix. I'm going after my teammate. I've got a championship to win. Well, guess what, Sam? I also want to win the championship. So let's see who gets onto it then as we now go on to lap 4 of the Grand Prix now. The gap is a tenth of a second between myself and Sam here as we now battle our way towards Blanchimont corner. You can see here that Reese is actually getting involved in the mix actually. He's actually just overtaken Verstappen there. And as we go towards Blanchimont, he goes a little bit wide there actually. I think he was trying to go for it on Sam as well in that occasion. So Reese there getting a little bit brave by battling his way through. He clearly got bored of staying in 4th place. He's now past the Jaguar car. And he is now up into 4th place. 3rd place, sorry, in the Belgian Grand Prix. We set a personal best lap here, but it's quite clear to see that the rest of the field is just that little bit quicker than myself at the moment. But if I've got track position, then they've got a job to try and get past me. That's the aim here. So the longer I can have some fun with these guys, the better the content is going to be, and the more fun we'll have as we get a very rough exit there through Eau Rouge and the top of Radion there. Now onto the Kemmel Straight here. Sam is going to have the DRS here and just blast down the straight here, but we're going to use every ounce of fuel and ERS that we've got to defend against this attack from Sam, and in towards Lecom, we're going to do just that, defending against my teammate, and we're still in front of him at the moment now, and the pressure is certainly mounting on Sam, because if Sam is struggling to overtake me for the lead of the Grand Prix, how much do you think I'm going to defend when it comes to second place, trying to lose my, when Reese tries to attack me for second place, or if Hamilton tries to attack me? I need to finish lower than 6th or 7th, I believe it is, in this race. As Sam now is going to go for it here towards the outside of Pouon now. This will be very interesting and close between the pair of us, but we just about hold on to that one. That's a really unorthodox place to go for an overtake there, and I think Sam might just lose out to Reese there. No, he doesn't. He actually stays in front now. Lap 6 of the Grand Prix here, and we've got our scheduled pit stop as well at the end of this lap to go onto the hard tyres. Whether we're going to do that or not, I can't actually remember. We get a little bit of a tank slapper on the top of Eau Rouge there. Now, unfortunately for Sam, he's about to lose the position here, because here comes Reese now with the DRS. He absolutely breezes past Sam. He's actually got a great run on me here. He's actually going to go for it down the inside in towards Lecom. We're going to close the door, keep it very tight for Reese on that angle, and he just couldn't carry the speed in there. But Reese then, I got caught out by the closing speed that Reese was getting in the Mercedes-Benz there. I didn't think that he'd be able to close up on me as quick as he possibly did, but he did. Now as we go on to the exit of Stavelo corner now, making the charge towards Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane here now, we've got Sam who's trying to go for a move around the outside of Reese, and he does so. Now he's actually going to go for it on us here. So Sam with a great double overtake potentially around the outside of Blanchimont. A little bit of contact there between myself and Sam. Sam takes the lead then of the Belgian Grand Prix, but we're going to come back up the inside in towards the bus stop chicane, and that was kind of a bit of a waste actually, because we're coming into the pits and going for an undercut on Sam now. In fact, myself and Reese are both stopping on this lap to get off of these soft tyres and get the hard tyres on, but that was a great little scrap there. But just by going for the attack on Sam, it just unsettled him a little bit as they go in towards La Source and further onwards now. As we're coming into the pits here for our one and only stop onto the hard tyres, we need to be quick in this stop. Come on, McLaren boys, get themselves out that great stop and a good exit and release there, and we're in front of Reese just about actually, and we maintain track position. But now as we're coming out here, we're going to be rejoining just behind her in front of Verstappen potentially. No, we're behind Max Verstappen. A little bit of contact there actually between myself and Max there. So Verstappen came in a little bit earlier actually and got the undercut on myself and Reese as we go up La Source now to the top of the hill now and onto the Kemmel Straight here. We have to make some overtakes now as we go onto the straight. Now we've got Verstappen versus myself versus Ocon. It's 4 wide now down the Kemmel Straight. All 4 of us fighting for position. All of us have got DRS. We're going to try and go for it. Reese tries to make an outbreaking maneuver on myself. We have to close off Verstappen. We go a little bit wide though because of the attack on Reese, but we've somehow managed to make 4 wide work through Lecom. That is sensational racing there between all 4 competitors as Reese now is still trying to hunt me down. He's still trying to attack while his tyres are a little bit better in their working condition, and in towards the corner with no name. Reese actually was very much ahead in that certain circumstance, but he just backed out of it, which he really shouldn't have. He should have just carried on. He's got a yellow flag in the background there. It looks like one of the Red Bulls is having some problems, but onto lap 7 of the Grand Prix now to start lap 8 here. We're going to be closing up to the back of Pierre Gasly, who set the fastest final sector of anybody in the Grand Prix so far. So we've got some pace on these hard tyres, but the bad news is there is Sam and there is Hamilton. So Hamilton then has got in front of Sam when we battled him earlier. And now, as we basically just close the door on Sam, Lewis Hamilton has got the lead at the Belgian Grand Prix, and that is bad news for Sam especially, because he needs to win this Grand Prix really to stand any chance of taking the Formula 1 Championship today. And with Hamilton now passing Gasly, that is going to be a very tough order. Meanwhile for me though, we're just trying to defend here. We go again in towards Lecombe. We defend against Sam. Reese now is going to go around the outside of Sam. Tuck that into the inside line for the middle sector. Sam will hold it around the outside, but I think Reese has got a better edge now coming into this corner. Not quite. It's going to be very close between the two competitors. Reese now is just about, I think, going to squeeze in front of Sam. He does so there. Good overtake from Reese, and he is now up into what is going to be 5th place in this Grand Prix. But Sam, by the looks of it, actually got back past him at some point. No idea when. Didn't catch that. We're closing it to the back of Pierre Gasly, though, for P4 in this Grand Prix. Hamilton is shooting off into the distance now. This is not good news for myself in terms of wanting to win the Grand Prix. In terms of the championship, it's beautiful that there's someone else attacking for the race win. And Lewis Hamilton might just pick up his first race win of the season. There's been a lot of opportunities for Lewis Hamilton to pick up that elusive race win this year, but they've pretty much evaded him at every single cost. But now, we're going to have a little look further back, because we just made that overtake on Gasly, and now as we make the run up towards Eau Rouge now, we've got Sam, who is on the back of Pierre Gasly. Verstappen is also behind that. Reese then is behind that as well. So somewhere in that, Reese has had a little bit of an issue here, but Sam now is going to go towards the outside. Can't make that move stick on Pierre Gasly, but now he'll try and make it stick. Gasly's got DRS on myself. Verstappen now is trying to go for it here as well. Verstappen breezes past Sam. Gasly is lost out to Verstappen. Sam has lost out to also Reese as well in all of this. It's been an awful stint here for Sam. He's lost so many places and all of that, and that's really cost him dear. But crucially, Verstappen, as we get another tank slap and have to cut the top of Radion there. Crucially, you would have seen, you can see on the top left now, Verstappen's catching us here, but he's doing a 2-stop race. There's the confirmation. Verstappen pitted early to go onto super soft tyres in this Grand Prix. He's just breezed past myself, and he's got past George Russell now in the process there. And as you can see, that didn't work out for me either, as Sam and Reese there are fighting hard in the background for position. Verstappen then is doing a different strategy in this Grand Prix, and if he's going to make this stint work, he has to get past Hamilton and really build a gap. He's not really made this work for himself, actually, as we now fly on through towards the corner with no name and in towards Pouon. This is holding us up really, really badly now, being stuck behind George Russell. I've got to pass him really, really quick now as we go in towards Pouon. That's yeah, it is Pouon. I'm getting it right. We're now getting very close to the back of George Russell, and we've decided to just go for it down the inside, and we do so on George there, and we make the overtake stick, cut the inside line off for him, and that is us now up into 3rd place in the Grand Prix. So the race order then is Lewis Hamilton leading the Grand Prix with Verstappen in 2nd, myself in 3rd, Sam is in 4th technically, but Reese might just try and make sure that he goes down a little bit further in the order here, as Sam now is about to lose out to Reese by the looks of it here, as he's got the DRS now up towards the run of last source. This might just pay dividends for Reese, and he gets him then in towards last source, but of course we've got the run down the Kemmel Straight coming up. But can Sam make that move stick on him? We're going to speed up the footage a little bit, and now as we go onto the top of the Kemmel Straight, let's have a look and see what Sam can do, and that is exactly what was planned. Breeze back past him with the DRS then, and a very simple overtake now. But looking at the battle for the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, Verstappen now goes for it on Lewis Hamilton around the outside of the bus stop chicane. He'll have the inside line for the second part of the bus stop, and now onto the exit here. Verstappen should have the DRS to make that run up towards last source and claim the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, and he does so then. Verstappen leads for Jaguar. Hamilton drops to 2nd place. Verstappen now needs to build a gap, but this is going to be crucial here, because Hamilton's going to have DRS now on the run down towards Lecombe. So it's not going to be as rosy for Verstappen, but up Eau Rouge, let's see if he can try and pull away from Lewis Hamilton, but it doesn't look like it here. Hamilton is very close to the back of Verstappen. Verstappen will have to go defensive for this overtake here. Hamilton now is going to use his DRS. Verstappen tries to cover up the inside line, but not enough here. Hamilton now tries to go for it in towards Lecombe. He's got the run. I think Verstappen's saving a bit of energy there, and he does so, but they're going to scrap for it nonetheless though, and this is great fighting here between Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton as they now go in towards another sector, still side by side. Crucially, the more that they go side by side, you just saw in the background then, we're actually behind all this lot, so we might just have an opportunity here to fight against these guys come the end of the Grand Prix as they fly on through now. Verstappen holds on against Lewis Hamilton, and he manages to get it. Meanwhile, further back though, Reese is attacking Reese now in this Grand Prix. Verstappen has stopped at this point, and we're now actually in the DRS range of Lewis Hamilton, so the more that they scrapped, which they did, that was actually a cue for us to go at it now. But onto lap 14 of the Grand Prix, I can confirm that Sam has got problems in this race. I could not find the point when the engineer told me that Sam has got car problems, but he does. That means now that Sam is going to be further back down the order, and his chances of winning the championship are falling away. But for us, though, we've got a great run of Lewis Hamilton here. We're going to go for it now, down the inside, in towards Lecombe. We move past Lewis Hamilton and into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix as Lewis Hamilton drops into second place. The battle between him and Verstappen pulled me into DRS range, and now we managed to move into the lead, and now we've got 8 laps to go, I believe, to defend against Lewis Hamilton for the win at the Belgian Grand Prix to wrap off this season. But now as we've gone to the end of lap 14 here towards Stavelo, the exit of it now, and make the run up towards the bus stop chicane here. Lewis Hamilton did not like what I just did then, and he's going to come back at me now in towards Blanchimont. It's going to be very much a rinse and repeat defensive manoeuvre as we did at the Japanese Grand Prix now, as we blast our way through in towards Blanchimont now. We're just in front of Lewis Hamilton, but as you can see, of course, it is myself holding off against Hamilton and Reese. Remind you of the last round? Yeah, it reminds me too. We've got to defend against both Hamilton and Reese, so let's see what we can do then as we now blast our way onto the straight. And now, in fact, let's focus on the important pieces, which is, of course, going up through Eau Rouge. Verstappen, fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. He's catching up to Sam at a vast rate of knots. Hulkenberg has overtaken Sam. He's in 4th place. Sam has dropped to 5th now in this Belgian Grand Prix. At the moment, Sam is not winning the championship unless his car can fix itself, and then also he can get a safety car or something. But for the fight, though, Reese then and myself and Hamilton having to go 3 wide in towards Lecombe there. Reese made it very difficult for us now as we blast our way on through. Back end steps out a little bit there, but I think Reese has just nicked the position against Lewis Hamilton. He has done. So Reese now moves into 2nd place in the Belgian Grand Prix, but Hamilton re-overtook Reese on that lap, and now in towards Stavelo corner we go. Now it's a fight against myself and Hamilton. Reese 1.1 seconds back between, I believe, him and Hamilton. I wonder if Hamilton and Reese made contact in there somewhere, but for Hamilton now, he's going to go for it towards Blanchimont. In fact, he just breezed past me. There wasn't even competition there, but now in towards the bus stop chicane, we're going to get a slipstream on Lewis Hamilton, and he opens up the inside line for us to gently nip our car down there, and I'm going to nicely just cut off the second part of the apex there to not give Hamilton another shot. We then do have DRS to work with on that as we look back on board with Reese now, who's under pressure here from Nico Hulkenberg in the Jaguar. So crucially, Hulkenberg has really brought himself back into this Grand Prix, and he's on the hard tyres, so he's clearly done the one stop alongside us. Hulkenberg is just absolutely rapid in this Belgian Grand Prix, and this is going to be for a podium place now for Nico Hulkenberg, which I don't believe he's actually ever had in the F1 Journey series. So this is going to be something massive if he can make it stick. But Reese then holds off against him, but we're back on board with Hamilton and myself now as we go in towards Eau Rouge. You can just see how much better traction that Lewis Hamilton is getting throughout the rest of the corners, and also stability as well is crucial for him as we go onto the straight here. We're using everything we've got now to defend against Lewis Hamilton. In towards Lecombe corner, we could break a little bit later, go side by side with Hamilton. We have to do it around the other part of Lecombe. We go a little bit wide though. Hamilton makes the move stick, and he's into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, but he gets it a little bit wrong on the exit there, and we're going to pounce on that, dive it down the inside. This is a super risky maneuver there. That could have easily caused carnage there between the pair of us, but we make it stick now, and through we go then, and back up into the lead of the Grand Prix as the tyres start to go off. Verstappen now sets the fastest lap of a 42.0, I think it was then, or something like that, and he's really gaining on all of us now in this Grand Prix. It is myself versus Hamilton versus Hulkenberg versus Reese now. Verstappen is also coming at us now as we go on to the Kemmel straight here. Lewis Hamilton now is blasting his way down the straight now with DRS. Hulkenberg's even coming in on the act as well. He's going to squeeze through the middle maybe. No, not just quite. Not enough room there, but in towards Lecombe. We've got a better run from Lewis Hamilton this time. Hulkenberg now steals 2nd place in the Belgian Grand Prix, and that's Jaguar up into 2nd, and that's crucial for the championship aspirations between Jaguar and Red Bull, because I don't think Red Bull are in the point-paying positions as of yet. So Jaguar might just find something that they'll absolutely love. Here's something that they'll love. Hulkenberg now leads the Belgian Grand Prix in towards Blanchimont. They go. Hulkenberg takes the lead there. We go a little bit wide there. We've got a very harsh track limit warning then, considering all the other stuff that I've done, but we break super late into towards the bus stop chicane, and we make the move on Nico Hulkenberg now, trying to cement the race win here for this Belgian Grand Prix. We've been defending so hard now. You can see here, fuel is a massive critical component here, and we're losing out on it now. Verstappen with another fastest lap of 42.6. He's seriously closing in on this race, so Verstappen cannot be ruled out of the win for this Belgian Grand Prix just yet, as we now breeze our way on through here. We've now got Hulkenberg attacking now as we go in towards the Blanchimont corner. Hulkenberg makes his way on through. That is him up into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. We're going to have to do what we did before, sit back behind Nico Hulkenberg. Now as we go in towards the bus stop chicane again, he opens the door ever so slightly. We're going to go for it down the inside on Nico Hulkenberg and close the line off very heavily there between myself and Nico Hulkenberg, and we take back the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. But where's Verstappen in all of this Now, that's what I need to know, because he's going to be critical for the fight. He's just a little bit further back, in fact, of all this battling. I'm trying to check the mini-map as well. As Hamilton out here on lap 21, trying to get past us. We're going to defend in towards Lecom, though, and we're literally just full out defending now. We've had our stage of attacking, which was the 4 wide moment, attacking Sam, attacking Hulkenberg very occasionally. Gasly is out of the Belgian Grand Prix, unfortunately. Verstappen then on the mini-map there is going slow in towards a bus stop chicane, so that's disastrous news for Jaguar there. But for us, though, we're on the last lap of the Grand Prix. We're trying to defend against Nico Hulkenberg here for the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Hulkenberg really wants to win a Formula 1 Grand Prix. I can't let that happen. I really want to go out of this season in style by winning this Belgian Grand Prix. And as we now go in towards the last few corners here, Verstappen has clearly got a puncture or something, because he's now in the pit lane. We're nearly about to lap him here in this Grand Prix. But for us, though, as we now make our way down towards Blanchimont, we've got all of the ERS in the world to use here against our competitors. Hulkenberg and Hamilton, they're not closing us on in here. It has been an absolutely sensational season for us in this F1 Journey series. We lost the World Championship to Sam last season. We came to McLaren. We came and we conquered. We not only win the Belgian Grand Prix, but the Formula 1 World Championship with it. And that does make us, I believe, a 4-time F1 Journey champion, which is something I cannot believe has happened then. And as we have a look now at the race results, you can see that we managed to win this Grand Prix. Just 0.4 of a second separated myself and Nico Hulkenberg across the start-finish line. Then we had Lewis Hamilton finishing in 3rd place, only 0.9 of a second off. He was less than a second behind us as well. Reece finishes it in 4th for Mercedes-Benz. Devon Butler claimed P5 for Audi, and Sam, unfortunately, only finished in P6. He had car trouble at the start of the 2nd stint, and unfortunately, from then on in, he was unable to challenge, and a very sad way for Sam to bow out of the championship battle with car trouble. George Russell finishes in P7 for Audi, another brilliant result for him. Noah James in P8 for Ferrari. Mason Wood finishes in 9th for Red Bull, ahead of Lando Norris in P10 for the 2nd Red Bull car. Verstappen did set the fastest lap, which we saw with a 1:42.605, but unfortunately it wasn't enough for him today, as of course car problems or puncture or something cost him that when he could have finished in P4 potentially, or P3, or even 1. He doesn't get anything at all. In the second half of the table, Charles Leclerc finishes in P11 for Ferrari today. Lucas Weber did a very good job to finish in P12 for Williams. Carlos Sainz again as well. Great job from him, 13th place for Ford. Nico Rosberg is P14 for the Porsche team. Daniel Ricciardo finishes in P15 for Renault, ahead of Bottas in P16, and Verstappen P17 for Jaguar. Both Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, and Pascal WEHRLEIN all DNF'd from the Grand Prix itself, which is going to mean for the World Drivers' Championship, then we have won the Formula 1 World Championship. Season 5 is ours with 289 points to our name, and Sam then finishes on 254 points. That does mean, I believe, the gap is up to 35 points. Of course, the championship felt a lot closer than that, but of course, Sam had a rough race here today. Reece ends the championship 3rd overall with 216 points. He was the only man, bar myself and Sam, to get past the 200-point barrier. So fair play to Reece. Of course, McLaren really did have a strong car this year, and Reece definitely took the fight to us a lot in this season. So fair play to him. Lewis Hamilton, 4th in the championship, but only 166 points. Disappointing season for him. Noah James in P5 for Ferrari on 121 points, ahead of Mason Wood, who finished his first season with 86 points. Max Verstappen finished with 81 points for Jaguar. Disappointing, you could say, for him, really. He definitely, if he didn't have the issue at the end of the Grand Prix, would have overtaken Mason for 6th in the championship, which would have been good. Charles Leclerc finishes with 77 points for Ferrari. A bad season overall for Ferrari in general, with Lando Norris in P9 for Red Bull on 62 points, and then Nico Hulkenberg with that podium does climb into the top 10 of the championship with 56 points. Looking then at the second half of the table for the Drivers' Championship, George Russell ends in P11 for Audi with 53 points, tied on points with Daniel Ricciardo at 53 points apiece. Devon Butler is 13th in the championship for Audi on 44 points, ahead of Esteban Ocon, who finished with 41 points. Pierre Gasly managed to secure 14 out of the 16 points for Ford, so a fantastic season for him, and there's no surprise why he's going to be staying with Ford next season, we believe. Pascal WEHRLEIN P16 for Porsche, picking up 10 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas, who picked up 6 points for Williams. Sainz in 18th with 2 points. Nico Rosberg and Lucas Weber were the only 2 drivers that failed to score a single point throughout the entirety of the season. And now looking at the Constructors' Championship, then McLaren won the Constructors' Championship by quite some margin with 543 points to their name, with Mercedes-Benz on 382 points. Ferrari finished with 197 points ahead of Red Bull, who are on 148 points. Jaguar just missed out on their pursuit of Red Bull. They finished on 137 points. If Max Verstappen did score points today where he was going to finish, Jaguar would have beaten Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, but it didn't work out for them, and that'll be gutting. Audi, though, with that points-paying position of P5 and P7 for Butler and Russell, managed to leapfrog Renault at the final round. Renault had been closing up on Audi. They got past Audi, but no points for Renault here today, and Audi picking up some really big points cost them dearly in the championship, and they beat Renault in the end, with Ford with 16 points, Porsche on 10, and Williams with 6. Now, as we're going to have a look at the post-race notebook then and see what the teams and drivers had to say after this race. Of course, it's going to be down to everything in the championship. Tom admits that he is speechless after what was his toughest championship battle so far. Tom, of course, was fighting very, very hard with Sam throughout the entirety of the season, yet again, to see who would win the World Drivers' Championship. And after car troubles, which Sam has identified as an MGUK failure, says to have been devastated after that issue cost him his chance at fighting for the championship. Of course, Sam was battling very hard with Tom in the opening stint, Tom managing to do everything he could to defend against his rivals. Of course, Sam then, obviously, with that issue, costing him a chance. Audi were absolutely delighted to have beaten Renault in the Constructors' Championship after the final round. Of course, Audi were very far behind Renault, but a big haul of points for them in the final race meant they managed to leapfrog them by just 3 points. Very, very good for them. And Lewis Hamilton is frustrated after losing out to Tom and Nico Hülkenberg. Hamilton was fighting very, very hard with Tom and Hülkenberg throughout the entirety of the Grand Prix. Despite then taking the lead of the race, the battle between himself and Verstappen cost him too much time. Tom then managed to overtake him with DRS, and then it was a case of trying to get back past Tom again, which was very hard to come across, and Hülkenberg managed to slip in there and take second place away from Hamilton, leaving him with just P3. But anyway, guys, that is it then for Season 5 of the F1 Journey. Thank you ever so much to every single one of you that have watched every single episode of this season. It's been an absolute blast to make it. Thank you so much again to Sam for making all of the graphics for me this season. And a shout out to Connor, who had made a lot of the start sequences for a long period of time before then Sam took over on that front as well. And yeah, I've already got the plans in place for Season 6, so hopefully I'll be able to do that over on F1 2020. I'd love to do it on 2020 rather than coming back to 2018 again, but if I have to come back on 2018, I'll come back on 2018. But guys, thank you very much for watching this series. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, and I will leave you guys with a little bit of a montage of some of the best clips from Season 5 of the F1 Journey. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care all. Peace.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through?